Greetings. My name is Letitia Hensley, and I'm the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Director of Family and Community Engagement. We are excited that you are joining us today and know you will gain great insight from this session. At the conclusion of today's session, please provide feedback so that we can continue to support you with amazing sessions that will be provided throughout the year. Now, without further ado, we'll turn it over to our presenters.
Good afternoon, CMS families. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and engage with our early and middle colleges Know Before You Go Back to School Basics Open House Series. We'll begin in about 1 minute, and in the meantime, we do ask that you complete the CMS Family Academy sign-on so that we know who's in the room and can continue to support you throughout the year. The link to that is within our Q&A. Will be dropped in the Q&A for you to be able to click and complete. It'll ask you which school and grade level your student at, and a great opportunity to stay engaged with us as the year continues. As you're working through the sign-in sheet, our next thing that I would love to share is the translation support that are available on the call today. So families, if English is not your primary language, if you would like some translation supports, what is available is in the top right-hand corner on your screen. You should see a closed captions button. When you select closed captions, show live captions will be visibly displayed below. And from that drop-down, please select the language of your choosing, and closed captions will appear on your screen. Once again, in the top right-hand corner, please select closed captions, show live captions, and select your language of need from the drop-down. We are excited to engage with you today and cannot wait to hear and answer any questions you may have, or any aha moments or surprises. And today, in the top right-hand corner, right next to the captions, we will have our Q&A section. This is where you can find that Family Academy sign-in dropped to easily click and complete. And you're also able to submit any new discussions or questions that you would like answered on the call. We'll have a Q&A section at the end of today's call where all questions will be answered and reviewed. Additionally, if you would like to react and engage with us, we love to see those aha moments or moments that surprised you. Feel free to use that react button to send us a thumbs up or a surprised face, whatever makes the most sense in the moment. And we are so glad you are here. We are glad that you have chosen to be a member of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools community. We know there are many options out there within Charlotte, the Charlotte area, and we are glad that you are with us. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools operates around core beliefs to support all students focused on district-wide goals. We operate under guardrails of equity over equality, safety, and security for all of our students and families, attending to the whole child, and ensuring that our students have access to high-quality teachers. Within that, we are supported through 4 pillars of excellence: our academic excellence, people excellence, operation excellence, and engagement excellence. As a district, we are committed to supporting our family and community through the engagement pillar of excellence, and are here to support you with any future needs. And I am excited to introduce our fabulous team who is on the call today to support you in gaining more understanding about what it means to attend an open house at an early and middle college, what you should be aware of, and how to best prepare for this opportunity. Today we have Principal Brian Bambauer from Levine Middle College High School on the call. We also have Principal Eric Turner from Central Piedmont Early College. And from the CPCC side of the house, we have Miss Sally Sullivan, the Assistant Director of Advising for Early and Middle Colleges, and Ms. Taranda Newkirk, who is the Harper Middle College Academic Advisor. Thank you so much for our panel today, for your contribution and taking the time to engage and share more about your buildings. And how to best maximize open houses as our families begin to engage.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Turner, and first, I just want to thank you all for joining us today to learn more about our early college and middle college programs. One of the unique features of the early college and middle college experience is that we operate on the Central Piedmont's calendar, not CMS's calendar. And that means that our students come back to school almost 3 weeks earlier than traditional CMS students. Actually, our teachers at Central Piedmont Early College came back to school yesterday was their first day. And the first day for our scholars is next Monday. With that being said, the end of our school year is also earlier than the traditional school year. So we typically end and have our end of course testing and graduation before Memorial Day. This upcoming year, 2026, we still have our testing before Memorial Day, but then our last few days of school are right there looking at the calendar right after Memorial Day. However, it is several weeks earlier than the traditional calendar. In addition to the difference in our beginning and end times to the academic year, our semesters end in December. So the our fall semester is over in December. And our scholars come back in January for the beginning of second semester, and then second semester is over in May. When you have a student that's in the early college program or middle college program, and you may have another student that is in a traditional CMS calendar school, one thing to take into consideration is that the teacher work days are different. And some of the holidays that are given are different as well. And another big difference is the difference in spring break. So as families plan their spring breaks, know that the spring break time for the early and middle college students is different than that of CMS. And then last but not least, before we talk a little bit about the different types of sessions that are a part of the Central Piedmont process, we have a fall break also that is not that the traditional calendars do not have. So the second full week in October, there's a full fall break and the end of the quarter that represents the end of the quarter for the first quarter. So again, some significant calendar differences between the early college and middle college program and the traditional high school programs. I would like to turn it over to either Principal Bambauer or to Ms. Sullivan to talk a little bit more about the difference between the 8-week, the 12-week, or the 16-week sessions for Central Piedmont.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all virtually, and we look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Yes, our sessions are generally either 16 weeks, which is a full semester, or 8 weeks, which is the first half or second half of a semester. We call them short sessions, first short session or second short session. There are occasionally some 12-week classes. There aren't quite as many of those. And we always recommend that students work toward taking their math or science, those lab credit classes, those 4-credit classes in a full semester whenever possible. So your advisor will work with you to help you work out a schedule. I know most of you have those already. But yes, generally our classes will either run the first half of fall, for example, then you'll have a week break, then you'll come back and you'll start some new classes that second session. They're all part of fall semester, but it's just divided into two. And the same thing will happen again in the spring.
One of the additional points that makes our program so unique is that at the early colleges, we provide countywide transportation, bus transportation for our students. And so with the early colleges, again, the early colleges begin in the 9th grade and run through 9 through 13. And then the middle colleges begin in the 11th grade and go 11th grade through the 13th grade for the early colleges only. And there's an important distinction there. For the early colleges only, countywide bus transportation is available. Because we are magnet programs, we do adhere to the Magnet Express stops, where students are picked up in the morning from their home high school. and in the afternoon, they're dropped off at their home high school as well. The middle college programs do not have CMS busing available, but they do offer CAT transportation support for those students that are not driving or drivers. And so again, our students are able to either use the CATS transportation, they can either drive at the middle colleges, or they can ride the CMS school buses if they attend the early college programs. If you have not done so already, and if you are looking to ride a CMS bus for the early college program, please make sure that you complete the CMS ridership form. The link for the ridership form is located at the bottom of this slide, and then additional information about CMS bus transportation is located on the link here on this slide. Each of our schools have a student and parent handbook, which supports our district policies and procedures for our district. And so I encourage all of our students and all of our families to review your school handbook so that you are aware of the procedures that will govern that particular school, whether it be procedures for behavior, dress code, or academic supports. It's important for all of our families to know what the unique expectations are for each school. And you can find all of those in your school's student and parent handbook.
Yes, and I posted the Central Piedmont version of that as well. Of course, we work with our partners in CMS, but Central Piedmont does have a policy as well if that's ever needed. But feel free to review that, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Van Bauer. I'm the principal at Levine Middle College High School. There are 4 middle colleges in CMS: Levine, Harper, Cato, and Maracus, spread throughout the county. And as Mr. Turner mentioned, the middle colleges serve grades 11 and 12, while the early college serves students in grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. With that being said, for our CMS classes, we do all follow the same CMS attendance policy as traditional schools in CMS, and this link will take you to that attendance policy. Our students have a unique schedule, as you know, with a blended section of CMS classes as well as Central Piedmont classes. And we really urge our students as they're enrolled in this CPCC classes to make sure that they check each course syllabus, because each professor might have a little different expectation regarding attendance. Typically, attendance is a component of the grading process for Central Piedmont courses. So students and parents, make sure you get those course syllabi from your CPCC professors and look carefully at what the attendance policy is for each course. Parents, you're also able to submit an absence to the attendance secretary at each of our schools through our CMS websites. This is a picture here of Mr. Turner's website, the Central Piedmont Early College. Right. That's the report absence form, and each of our CMS websites have that form. So when you click on that, that'll open up a form that you can submit asking for your child's name and the reason for the absence, and that'll go straight to each school's attendance secretary so we can record the absences correctly.
Okay, college credits. Happy to take that one. So our early college, as they've explained very well, starts with our 9th grade. It is on our central campus. That's our only early college that we have in the system. And this is for highly motivated students who would like to leave high school with a high school diploma and a college degree, an associate's degree within that time frame. Students do have through the 12th grade and an optional year 13, which is sometimes needed in middle college to complete an associate's degree, with the early college having that 9th grade start. If a student is able to start the program in 9th grade, they should rarely ever need that grade 13, but it's an option for them if needed. So the day is split between high school and college classes, and the high school schedules generally start somewhere roughly around 11 o'clock for first block with a little deviation. So our classes can be 9:30 in the morning before that. We have some 8 o'clocks. and some online options for some classes that online works well as well. So our students have the opportunity to fit in, quite a few classes in a semester between high school and college courses. And we work with the high school guidance counselors very carefully to make sure that we schedule those appropriately. Our career and college promise, since there's information here, we want to share about that too. Those students stay at their home high school and take classes with Central Piedmont, either online or by coming to a campus, or in some cases by our faculty going into the high schools to actually teach the courses there. So the big difference is career and college promise students stay at their CMS high school, they graduate from there, but early and middle literally come onto our campuses for both their high school and college classes completely. Mr. Turner, I'll let you go.
So looking at the early college academics, all of the courses that are taught at the early college are all weighted at the AP level once the students begin to take college courses. And so the high school courses that our students take are weighted GPA-wise towards at the honors level, excuse me. And then once the students begin to take college course, they'll receive AP credit for those courses upon successful completion of those courses. And that's critically important because with our programs being accelerated programs, students that are successful in our programs, they are seeking the more rigorous and accelerated coursework as a part of their high school experience. Additionally, the students that earn the AP credit, in order to successfully earn their AP credit, they need to pass those classes. And they will earn that AP credit for the college classes without having to take the AP exam at the end of the year. Typically, a student will take an AP course, and then at the end of the AP course, they would have to take and pass the AP exam in order to get that credit. And for the students that who are in our program, they'll be able to earn that AP credit without having to take the AP exam at the end of the semester or year. So a lot of our students choose that option. Great opportunity for them. The coursework and curriculum. By the end of the 10th grade year in the early college program, all of our students will have all of their high school credits with the exception of English 3 and English 4. So there are 24 credits that are required to graduate with your diploma. And our students will have all of those credits with the exception of those 2 courses that I just mentioned. And we leave those 2 courses open for as seniors because we want to make sure that we have a touch point with those students when they're out on the college campus, and that we can see them during the course of that year to make sure that they're still associate degree program. Within the English and math programs, we do use the Springboard curriculum for English and the Coherent math curriculum for our secondary math classes. At the early college, the highest level of math that we offer at the high school level is Math 3. After Math 3, our students will begin to take either pre-calculus, calculus, statistics, or additional higher level math courses through the college program. And we also use the district science curriculum and social studies curriculum as well. Now, once the students complete the 10th grade, they begin to pursue their associate degree pathway. They will choose which pathway or program that they're interested in. And to earn their associate degree, they have to complete 60 college credits at the community college successfully in order to earn that associate degree. Now, I want to park you just for a quick second because a lot of parents will often ask, do the students have to get the associate degree to be in the program? And they do not. If they don't want to do the full 60 credits, once they're finished with the 12th grade, they can take the credits that they've earned and use those as transfer credits to go into the college of their choice. And so again, we hope, and the program was designed for students to earn their associate degree, but right now that is not a requirement to be in our program.
So everything Mr. Turner mentioned about the weighting of courses and the AP credit without taking the exam from Central Piedmont classes is also true for the middle colleges. The one thing that's different about the middle college program, as you know, students join us in grade 11. So they have to have completed a number of high school courses to be eligible. We don't teach Math 1 or Math 2. So students will need to take that their freshman or sophomore year. English 1, English 2, biology, health, and these 2 social studies credits all need to be completed by the end of the student 10th grade year to be eligible for the middle college program. And in addition, we do have a GPA requirement as well. Students need to have a 2.8 unweighted cumulative GPA at the end of their 10th grade year to be eligible, or if they have a 2.5 to a 2.79, there's a series of qualifying tests that they can to demonstrate eligibility as well. So that's one thing that's different about the middle college program compared to the early college. Our students are required to take a minimum of 4 courses per semester, and at least one of those 4 needs to be a Central Piedmont course. Many of our students choose to take a few more than 4 with our counselor's approval. And we have the same graduation requirement for high school credits and the 60 college credits for the associate's degree. Just like Mr. Turner mentioned, our students don't have to earn that associate's degree. Many of them do, but some of them choose just to earn that college credit that's transferable, and they end up going to a 4-year university.
I would like to add just a quick additional point with regards to early and middle college. There, the expectation is that students will stay a minimum of 4 years through the early college program. We know that some students are moving very quickly through their high school credits and the associate degree credits as well. But students who are looking to graduate in 3 years, that's not the design and intent of the program, which is early college. And so again, unless there's some unique circumstance that that really is a good reason for a student to be given the opportunity to graduate in 3 years, students are expected to stay at least 4 years through the early college program.
So when it comes to electives, we don't typically have traditional electives at the early and middle colleges. Students do have access to some Central Piedmont courses that could serve as electives. We also don't have our own athletic programs or marching band or cheerleading, but we do have an agreement with traditional high schools and CMS. Our students can return to their home high school for athletics, CMS-sponsored athletics, marching band, and cheerleading. We try to adjust their schedule so they have time to travel back to their high school if they wish to participate in any of those activities. We also have a number of clubs that are hosted by our faculty, CMS teachers. In addition to that, our students also have access to any of the Central Piedmont student engagement activities or clubs. So there's a student government at our high school, as well as a student government through Central Piedmont, and we have students that are able to participate in both. So they have a lot of opportunity to do extracurricular activities. Sally, did you want to talk about GPA impacts?
Yes. So as it's written here, there are some criteria as it comes to the college side of coursework here, of course, at the college. So there's a mention that if a student needs multiple attempts, it's more than 3 attempts at a class, we have to get dean override permission. That doesn't happen frequently. I'm not even sure that I've come across it too much in my 2 years. Early college students do need to maintain, as it's written here, that 2.8. And the reason that's so important is you can't access all of our college level coursework without that GPA. So it's very important that students take it seriously and commit to the program, because there is the discussion that comes up about reassignment with the CMS personnel if a student can't get to that level of GPA. I know coming in from 8th grade into 9th grade, you don't have a GPA yet, but it really is set up for students, especially at the early college, who are ready for an academic challenge, ready to reach their goals, and ready to commit to that program. middle college 2.0 is important because by that point on the college side, for a CP GPA, that's what you need to graduate. And we do like to see as many students take advantage of the opportunity to complete an associate's degree as possible. There are some advantages with the universities for having that. It's called gen ed exemption that you get for having those classes done and the whole degree complete. You can hopefully, we work on getting this right with all your prereqs and advising, can roll right into a university at the junior level status academically when you get there and go right into your major. So it is important that you maintain a GPA and are ready for that level of rigor when you come in. Our curriculum and programs. We do have academic supports. We do have tutoring centers available, both in person and virtually, Cato, Central, Levine, Maracas, and online, of course. I did clarify because the question came up, do they support high school classes or college classes, Central Piedmont classes? And I got the response back from the director that the peer tutors and people that work in those departments are trained to work toward our curriculum because that's what they're familiar with. Now, if a student walks in for help with an English paper, I'd be surprised that they wouldn't just help with any English paper. But when it comes down to if you need help with high school chemistry, that could look different from our college chemistry. I know college chemistry has supports. If you're struggling in math 2 or 3, your peer tutor here may not have had that class for quite a while, and they're concentrating on a different curriculum. So the stated policy is help and support academically from the college support team on college curriculum classes. But again, I wouldn't say that they wouldn't be willing to help with some other things, but I know they're trained and their programs are around our tutoring for our classes.
So our programs also offer SEL supports, which are required by CMS. There's several programs that we use to support this effort. One in particular is Capturing Kids' Hearts. Most of our families are familiar with Capturing Kids' Heart. This is the 3rd or 4th year that our district has used this resource. Capturing Kids' Hearts provides supports with regards to social emotional needs of our students, recognizing that strong connections they do lead to improved academic performance and behavior. A new resource that we'll be using in many of our schools throughout the district is Sources of Strength. And this is a strength-based program focused on fostering resilience and promoting help-seeking behaviors. And so the Support Services Department for CPCC also offers a variety of additional supports, but they may be limited just based off the student's age. And then last but not least, when needed, CPCC may refer students to CMS-based resources for additional support.
So one of the first questions is what program you're interested in. And if you don't know, that's okay too, because we have a universal associate transfer that we put people in to start, but we can adjust that. We're sort of 2 sides to one college. So there's the Associate of Applied Science or AAS programs. These are more your career skills-based programs, everything from the automotive, graphic design, HVAC, welding. We have construction, engineering, technology, just to name a few of those. And those are to train you, to get you a degree. You would earn that credential, and then you would be ready to go off into the workforce. So that's one side of the college. The other side of the college that's open to all of our students is the transfer degree. Those are for students who know they want to go the 4-year university route. And what they're essentially doing with us is taking their freshman and sophomore level college classes while they're here and getting all of that done and meeting prereqs. And we have really great transfer guides in the state of North Carolina we can use. But to be clear, these classes do often transfer out of state into private schools as well, of course. And that's the beauty of taking general education, because everyone needs an English, a math, a history, a science, a public speaking, a fine art class, a humanities class. So these are very general and widely accepted transfer credits if you go the transfer route. We just don't have a written agreement that says they have to accept every last credit you take within that program with out-of-state or private schools like we do have with the UNC system. So one of the things to think about is just what program you might be interested in. Another thing to keep in mind is not all programs exist on all campuses. Culinary's at a campus, early childhood's at a campus, automotive's at two campuses actually. But of course, the transfer credits are widely available at all campuses. But if you are interested in something like automotive, we have Levine and Maracas, which both have some automotive program options. One thing to keep in mind with Central Piedmont is once you're a student of ours, you're a student at every campus. Could be theoretically, you can go to our libraries, performances. You can travel between campuses. Your home high school might be Levine, but we have some welding students from Levine who go over and take their welding classes at our Harper campus. So then it just becomes a matter of transportation, accessibility, and scheduling. So you are open to any program once you get to the stage that you have the transportation worked out, or we can make arrangements to make that a possibility for you. But the transfer classes, of course, are available at every campus. So back to just some introductions again and giving you contact information. I'm the assistant director for the early and middle college programs, and also the Levine Middle College assigned advisor. Then we have Megan O'Haron, who is a wonderful advisor with us. She works at Maracas and Cato Middle Colleges. Kara is an advisor who loves working with students as well at this age group, and she is specifically assigned to the Central Piedmont Early College. And then Taronda Newkirk, our newest advisor in our little team and pathway here within advising, and she works at Harper Middle College and also is going to do some advising support for our dual enroll students as well. In terms of top tips from advising, I would say to remember first and foremost to check your Central Piedmont email frequently. I know it might feel like a lot that you have a separate CMS email and a separate Central Piedmont email, but that is the only way our staff or faculty can reach out to you with information. So it's very important that you check that very frequently. Next, our welcome desk at every campus is staffed with navigators who are basically student support specialists who can point you in the direction of anything you might need. If you have trouble logging in, you have any issues at all, or just simply need physical directions, they're great at that too. And then my next tip is use your resources. Our librarians have a wealth of knowledge about things like Brightspace, which is our online learning platform, kind of like you might have Canvas or Google Classroom that you're familiar with. They can help you with research. They can help you with a great many things that you might be needing a little more support on. Your syllabus, of course, will give you on the college side everything you need for the academic support for that particular class. We've posted a link here to our academic support centers as well. And then lastly is to take full advantage of all the things we offer here, our college fairs, our guest speakers, all the opportunities we have. And we're going to try to share even more with you through your ACA class that you'll take in the fall to help you connect with some of those. But every Tuesday, once we get a couple weeks into the semester, a lot of our campuses will have admissions counselors from universities come set up a table and just to meet with you and to give you a brochure or talk with you, have questions. We have some really great opportunities we'd love you to take advantage of. And you can see more about that in the student life link there on our calendar or on our website. I tried to do a screenshot here to show you this. If you ever get lost or can't find one of our systems online, if you'll just go to cpcc.edu and then log on to current students at the top right, you'll basically bring up the platforms and links of everything you need, starting with Brightspace. You'll see there, that's the icon for our online learning platform. My college login is where your classes are held. It's your schedule. It's basically like your Power School or Infinite Campus on the college side. And then the My Connect login is how you can reach out and schedule an appointment directly on your advisor's calendar, which can be in person or virtual. In person's great if you can do it. And lastly, your email login is there as well. And then I didn't copy the whole page, but down below that is a reminder of our calendars, how to reach out to our IT service desk if you need them. One note about appointments right now is we suspend appointments during the heavy walk-in period right now for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So you might want to just email your campus assigned advisor, and they can reply back with a good time to come in, because we are open right now for walk-ins for the whole campus. And there are some waiting times, I know, for that right now. But always reach out by email and we'll accommodate you first over other students since for middle and early college.
On the high school side, we have some additional academic supports with regards to disability services. The students must initiate and manage their own support through the CPCC's disability services. So if a student has an identified disability and they're taking college classes, the students must initiate that process. That focus is on building self-advocacy skills and independence while working with the college professors. With technology access, students will receive CMS laptops. We are a one-to-one school, both the early college and middle colleges, and they use the CMS laptops, excuse me. But some of the college courses do require additional downloads that are not supported by CMS devices. So in those cases, students will have access to additional software or laptops that will be provided by the school so that they can access the required materials from their college classes. Additionally, CPCC provides access to technology labs, device checkouts, and tutoring services on campus. Sally mentioned earlier in the presentation the importance of email communication. Is so important for our students to check not just their CMS email accounts, but their CPCC email accounts on a regular basis, daily. And so students are responsible for checking both of those accounts and responding in an appropriate timeline. And then last but not least, 13th grade. Principal Bambauer mentioned this earlier, but students are not required to complete a 13th grade. However, if they choose to stay that 13th year, that it does provide a gap year for them to complete their associate degree if they choose. If they do choose to graduate with their peers at the end of the 12th grade, they will no longer be eligible for programs at the community college.
So over the summer, the state of North Carolina has transitioned student information systems. So you may have been familiar with Power School. Now it is Infinite Campus. So we have a new platform for everyone coming online. It came online actually earlier for middle and early college students and staff, since we start earlier than the traditional calendar schools and CMS, and it seems to be working so far. We are encouraging at least one parent or guardian from every student to download and access the parent portal, which is the second slide here. You can download Apple from the App Store or from Google Play, this app for your phone. And this will give you access, just like Power School did. You can see announcements, you can see CMS assignments, CMS attendance, CMS grades, and your student schedule for CMS classes is all available in the new Infinite Campus parent portal. There's also a student version, Campus Student, that we encourage our students to download as well. This slide is helpful. That English version and Spanish version are actually links. So if you click on that English version, it will give you specific step-by-step instructions, parents, for how you can download that portal. You will need your student's CMS ID number to be able to link the portal to your child. And this step-by-step directions walks you through how to do that. You can go through parent square to access your student's CMS ID number and then link your child to your Infinite Campus parent portal. I think the next slide also talks a little bit about Parent Square. Yeah. So Parent Square you're familiar with, hopefully from last year. Parent Square we're continuing to use this year for principals to push out announcements and important messages to all of our parents and students. So we encourage you to download this as well. So you'll have both apps hopefully on your phone and can keep up with all the important communication coming from CMS regarding your child.
And
yeah, go ahead.
And as we are at more towards the end of today's session, we really wanted to highlight questions to ask your child's advisor or high school counselor while they are on campus. So when you attend your open house, some great questions would be, what would a typical day for my student look like on your campus? What support services are available, such as tutoring and counseling? How will families be informed of activities, homework, and updates? What should parents be aware of when balancing CPC and CMS expectations? How can families be involved in their child's progress? How can families support their child's learning at home? And how do I complete a student release form to access my students' grades? And as you attend these open houses, just a few quick tips for continued engagement would be to bring a notebook, take notes, write down any of those wonderings, questions, or aha moments to make sure that you're prepared for the school year as you begin to engage in this new process. Follow up with your teacher, your child's teachers or advisors if there's any questions or wonderings you may have after the open house to ensure that they are set up for a successful school year. Involve your student in their open house. Make sure they are in attendance with you so that they feel comfortable on their campus, engaging in education, and encourage them to be the person to be speaking with their professors, asking questions, and sharing their thoughts. And make sure you're connected by asking the right questions. You can build partnerships with your school and your child's academic growth. Most importantly, we're just glad to have you here with us, showing up and engaging to support your students and families. We are so glad that you have been able to join us today, and thank you for your time. We have a special thanks to our esteemed panel of presenters today. We had Principal Brian Bambauer on the call from our Levine Middle College High School, Principal Eric Turner from Central Piedmont Early College, from Central Piedmont. From the CP programs, we have Miss Sally Sullivan, our Assistant Director of Advising for Early and Middle Colleges, and Miss Taranda Newkirk, the Harper Middle College Academic Advisor. Special thank you so much for sharing your time and area of expertise during our call today. At this time, our families have not shared any questions within our Q&A. We will make sure that this slide deck is published with a video on our Family Academy on demand. And we look forward to a wonderful year engaging and supporting our early and middle college families. Thank you so much.